Hey guys, and welcome to today's lesson. I know some of you have been waiting a long time for this one, so here it is, part 5, building a webshop with ESP. In today's lesson you will learn how to build a simple webshop using dynamic controls. If we enter some numbers here, we can order them, we can review our order, and we can send it to the database. If you are just joining our lessons now and don't want to take the previous lessons, you can also download the source code and accompanying database from the starter pack in the description below, so you can jump right into this lesson. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, preparing the database. So open up your SQL Server and execute a new query on your CoffeeDB. Next, open the SQL file in the description below this video, copy and paste all the code, and execute it in SQL Server. This will generate a new orders table. Let's take a look at our new table. Table order has seven parameters: an ID, client who placed the order, product being ordered, the amount of units, price per unit, date on which the order was shipped, and a boolean dictating whether an order has been shipped or not. Next, we are going to create an order object, like we did for our coffee and user objects. First, let's get things a bit more organized. Add a new folder in your app code folder and call it entities. And place your coffee and user object in that folder. Next, create a new class and call it order. Then give it the following parameters. Once you've done that, generate two constructors, one with all parameters marked and one with all parameters with the exception of the ID. Okay, that's it for our entities. Now let's get working on the shop page. So in your pages folder, add a new web form and call it shop. Make sure the select master page is checked and select your master page on master. Make sure to link this page as well, so open up your master page and add a new link to your new shop page in the navigation bar. And do the same for the masterpage.cms. Inside your new shop page, first drag a label and call it label result and set its visible property to false. Below that label, drag and drop two buttons sideways of each other and call them button OK and button cancel. And set their visible property to false as well. Below those buttons, drag and drop another button and call it button order. Place another label beneath that button and call it label error. And last but not least, drag and drop a panel below label error and call it panel products. So that's all the controls we are going to need for this form. All the other controls will be dynamically generated. Let's take another look at the page that we are going to be building. Each coffee object consists of an image, a label for its name, a label for its price, and a text field for the amount of orders. We are going to dynamically generate these controls. So in Visual Studio, go to your code behind screen and create a new method, generate controls. Next, just copy and paste the code that I write. Okay, let me explain some of the things that we've just typed in. So we are creating new web controls by using the new constructor and setting their properties by calling them between the curly brackets. Formatting a string like this will make sure that numerical data is always displayed with 2 decimals. Note that I'm assigning the text box ID by using the coffee ID. This will make sure that both objects are directly related. And over here we have a regular expression validator. Using this regular expression will make sure that only numbers can be entered into the text boxes. If a letter or a symbol is entered in the text box, this error message will appear. Once we've created all these controls, we add them to the coffee panel, and once that's done, we add that panel to the overlapping panel products. Okay, that's it. So call this method in your page load, and then open up your style sheet in the css.stylesheet folder and type in the following code. That should do it. If you run your page now and open your shop page, you will see a new form has been generated for each coffee object found in the database. To align these coffee objects sideways to each other, we need to style the divs within the panel products panel. But that's actually a bit tricky. If you right mouse click and open your page source, you will see that IDs outside of a content placeholder remain the same, but IDs within content placeholders get all messed up. So the actual ID for panel products should be something like CT100 underscore content placeholder 1 underscore panel products. So copy this garbled ID and place it within your CSS file and add a div tag. Next, copy and paste the following CSS codes. There we go. If you save and reload your page now, you'll see that the objects are properly aligned next to each other. Now we are going to write some functionality that reads each of the text boxes data. But since we're working with dynamic controls, we can't just call the text boxes by name since they don't exist yet at design time. To remedy this problem, we are going to write a helper class that is going to search for text boxes within the page and return their data. So within your app code folder, add a new class and call it control finder. Next, just copy and paste the following code. Okay, that should do it. I'm not going to explain what each line of code does, as this is some advanced programming. Just know that this class takes a type of control for an input and returns a list of all controls found corresponding to that type. Next, go back to your shop code behind page and add a new method called get orders. This method is going to return a list of all the text boxes that have numerical data in them using the class that we've just created. We will need to expand our connection class as well. So open up your connection class and add a new static method that returns a coffee object called getCoffee by ID with an integer ID for input. This will return a single coffee object using that object's ID. Next, just copy and paste the following code. Okay, now we can get the full list of orders from our dynamic controls. Now we are going to write a method that is going to generate the HTML for this table. So in your shop code behind, add a new method called generate review and type in the following code. We're going to start off by declaring a double total amount. This is going to be the total amount of all orders placed. Set it to 0 for now. Next, get all the orders from the page by doing array list order list equals get orders. Store the list in a session variable called orders for now. User will need to confirm his orders before we can send them to the database. Until then, we can store them in a session variable. Next, just copy and paste the following code. Okay, that should take care of generating the table. Now we are going to write a method that lets us store orders in our database. So open up your connection class and add a new method. Call it public static void add orders with an array list for an input. Next, copy the following code. Okay, that should do it. Go back to your shop code behind page and add a new method called private void send order. This method will be called when a client confirms his order. So get the order lists from the session variable. And send it to the database. And don't forget to clear the session objects afterwards, so that we don't send any duplicate orders. There we go. We need another small method. A user needs to be logged in before he can place an order. So add another method called private void authenticate and place the following code. This will redirect a user to the login page if he tries to access an order without being logged in. To finish this lesson, go back to your shop page and generate events for both the OK, cancel and order button by double-clicking them. Place them with the other events. There we go. And type in the following code between them. Okay, that should do it. Let's try it out to see if everything's working. Let's see. If I try to place an order while I'm not logged in, I will be redirected to the login page. That's good. Let's try that again. I'm gonna offer 5 cafés au lait and 3 cafés americanos. Oops, I seem to have made an error. Ah yes, we need to place the total amount variable here. Let's try that again. Five cafés, 2 cafés. The HTML table is being generated, and if we hit OK, it should be sent to the database. Okay, that's good. Now let's see if the data made it to our database. Ah yes, and as you can see, the 2 orders have been added to our table orders. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope it was worth the wait, and I hope to see you again in our next lesson, in which you will learn how you, as an administrator, can do meaningful things with this data.